Hello there. I'm Kathleen Splane, Extension Educator with the University of Delaware Cooperative Extension, and I'm thrilled to have received the NEED Exceptional Local Programming Award and want to be able to share some of the information about my work in Delaware with regards to food safety. So the main program, one of the main programs I teach is Serve Safe, but I wanted to give you a little history about the variety of classes that I teach. Serve Safe being one of them, Dine Safe, Would Your Kitchen Pass a Food Safety Inspection, Food Safety for Entrepreneurs, and food preservation classes as well. I've been teaching food safety for over 20 years with Cooperative Extension at the University of Delaware, and I can tell you that I've received so much satisfaction from teaching these classes, especially from the clientele that I teach, understanding that people are really trying to do their best and provide safe food to the people that they work with and they serve. The main difference with all these classes is the audience and the intensity and depth of training that's entailed in each of these classes. But I always start off my classes with asking people, why is it so important in 2022 to be learning about food safety as opposed to years and years ago when food safety wasn't as important? And although a lot of people come to the classes voluntarily, there are some that have to come for certification. And this really helps set the stage for the importance of food safety in 2022. And I always remind them in all the classes that if you're serving one meal in your family's home or 500 meals at work, the same concepts apply, and that it's important to know about food safety even as a food preparer in your own home. So I just want to take a minute and talk about the different classes and some of the differences in the classes. The first one being the Serve Safe class. And what I wanted to do is share some of the illustrations, some of the photos that I use in these classes to kind of drive home the points, the concepts of food safety. Serve Safe is a very rigorous national certification, and the individuals who come to this class are not there voluntarily. So I really try to incorporate real life examples in the classes and things that I've seen out in the field and just as a consumer in Delaware to show them what can really happen in their facility. Our Serve Safe class is a one-day format, so they are there all day, and we really try and lighten things up by having some real-life examples. In this slide, you'll see two examples of the exact same poor food safety practices in place. The one on the left is a more casual dining environment. The one on the right, a more formal dining environment. And both of them are doing things incorrectly by having the glasses upside down on an unsanitized surface. And it can sometimes make a light bulb go off in their mind. They're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that as well. Here's a couple other examples. On a cruise, there's tongs that have been handled by one individual that are resting on food, ready-to-eat food that another person is going to eat. And on the right is an actual delivery that we received at one of our county offices where the caterer reused a container that had cookies in it. And those cookies had nuts, they had wheat in the flour of the ingredients, and they were putting sliced tomatoes in that container. And it just shows them, you know, what people do to cut corners sometimes to save a little money. And of course, we don't name names. We just move along. Nobody really knows who these organizations are. But just those real life examples really help them visualize what's happening in their facility. I do try and keep it light and add some humor. This is a picture that I've used before, and it's always interesting to me that about 75% of the people that come to the classes have never seen this kind of hand dryer. And I remember driving to my grandmother's house in South Carolina and using this type of cloth dryer in gas station bathrooms. And it just adds a little humor to the class and adds a little lightness to the day to say, this is what used to happen. And this is why a good reason why we don't use these anymore. So just some special accommodations I've made over the years, and my colleagues and I have made throughout Delaware Cooperative Extension. We provide the ServSafe materials in different languages. We have Spanish, Chinese, and Japanese materials. We actually offer the classes in Spanish and Chinese. I've contracted with a Chinese instructor, and before COVID, we had other entities in Delaware that were teaching the classes in Spanish. So we would direct people to those locations rather than having too many people in a small state teaching it in different languages. But they are not resuming those classes. So we are going to be teaching it in Spanish. We've contracted with a Spanish instructor so that we can serve those individuals. And then there's been times where I've had to even have special accommodations for visually impaired individuals who need their materials in Braille. And when they come to take the certification exam, I have to make sure that I have a separate proctor so they can be read the exam in a separate room. And then I need a witness to make sure that the individuals who is reading the exam is doing that correctly, so that if there's any questions later, we're all on the up and up with that. So really important to make sure we're serving all individuals in Delaware with these classes. And this is something that is required by public health in Delaware, as it is required in many other states throughout the country. So just to share some things about some other classes that I teach. Food Safety for Entrepreneurs is a class for people that are applying for a license to prepare limited items in their own home. And these individuals have to go through a training. They can take the ServSafe, but this is more catered to them, this Food Safety for Entrepreneurs. And the pictures that I have up on the screen now are pictures of COVID time when the individuals could take the class by Zoom, but they had to come in for an in-person exam. So rather than having them come into the building, which we weren't allowed to access, they took the test in the parking lot in their cars. Luckily, this was a beautiful day. You can see the one individual on the left working on her test. And then the lady sitting in the chair in the parking lot, she actually came with her mother-in-law. So her mother-in-law was in the car. She was sitting in a chair in the parking lot. And that way we made that accommodation so people could be successful, because they needed this for their business and to move forward with still doing their home production. They needed this class. So another class that I teach is called Dine Safe, and this is more for second-tier employees in an organization that don't need the certification of ServSafe. It's also one that we do for church volunteers. We make it fun and informal. And, you know, an example here, a picture of an individual handling money with gloves on and showing this is a fundraiser at a high school. And these are the kind of people that would come to the class, and showing them that, you know, we really need to know how to use gloves correctly. The next class is the What's Your Kitchen Pass, a food safety inspection. And this is really for the home food preparer. And this class and the Dine Safe class, we do a lot of games, we do hand washing activities, cross-contamination activities, but more for this one's more for the home consumer or the home food preparer. And we really cater it to things that might happen in their own home. For example, how many people love to still wash their chicken before they put it in the oven? And people are really enlightened when they understand the reasoning behind that. And we show them a video of, you know, why you don't want to do that, because it aerosolizes all that, those pathogens around your kitchen. And then the picture on the right is actually a distant relative of mine posted on social media as her way of defrosting her Thanksgiving turkey. And we talk about how, you know, that's really not the correct way to do that. Food preservation has really increased in demand over the last few years. People are wanting to grow their own food. They're wanting to know where their food comes from. So we just really want to make sure that individuals are learning how to do this safely and correctly with science-based recipes, and that they're not relying on Facebook or social media or blogs, things like that, to get their information about food preservation. I also show them pictures of what could happen, when you are preserving your food, and sometimes there's disappointing results. The picture on the right is something that actually happened to me, where I had a jar break in the water, and just showing them, how to deal with that. Don't give up. You can still have some good products if you try again, and just really the importance of inspecting your jars and things like that. So here's the big so what. You do all this great training and you teach all these people the right thing to do, but what kind of impacts are you making? So I just wanted to share a couple slides about impacts regarding the work. As far as Serve Safe and Dine Safe, in the time period from 2014 to 2022, we've taught about 119 sessions, reaching about 1,200 Serve Safe students and about 523 Dine Safe students. And we do post-program evaluations in addition to the individuals taking the National Restaurant Association certification exam for Serve Safe. Whether they pass or are not successful in passing, they still could be learning a lot of things that aren't captured in that exam score. So post-program data, combining the Serve Safe and Dine Safe students, you can see that 85% of those individuals, as a result of coming to the program, will calibrate thermometers more regularly. 94% will wash their hands properly. 91% will thoroughly wash and sanitize all food contact surfaces. And then when it comes to the entrepreneur food safety class, from 2014 to 2022, during that time, we teach that less frequently. I've taught it less frequently over the years. I conducted 8 sessions with 84 students, and 82% of those individuals plan to apply for their entrepreneur license so that they can make those products in their home. They understand that, yes, this is a product I can make, I can do it successfully, and I'm going to apply for that license. So the post-program data with those individuals shows that 99% will use sanitizers correctly, 91% will improve their personal hygiene practices, and really 100% of those individuals understand their role in protecting consumers through the food safety class that has been offered. So I just want to thank the Northeast Extension directors for this award. It's been really a wonderful career teaching food safety to individuals. I can tell you I've learned that these individuals preparing food, they want to do the right thing. They understand they need to go through the rigorous requirements to do the right thing, to keep their customers safe. And I wanted to let you all know that the monetary award for this Northeast Extension's Local Programming Award is going to go to professional development for volunteers throughout the state who are now required to take the Serve Safe class. And the cost of that is quite prohibitive. So by helping them defray the cost is going to allow them to be able to be successful in serving safe food to Delawareans. So thank you very much.